This video series comes with a fully illustrated workbook and ISA certification CEU tests. Additional workbooks may be purchased from the ISA or NAA.
Hi, I'm Sharon Lilly from the International Society of Arboriculture, or ISA.
And I'm Peter Gerstenberger from the National Arborist Association, or NAA, and this is Basic Training for Ground Operations in Tree Care.
We're going to take a look at the arboriculture profession and show you a little bit of orientation. We're going to look at vehicle safety, planning and preparing for job operations. We're going to look at how to work safely and efficiently in the field, and finally we're going to look at chipper use and maintenance.
This series is going to take us to a couple of different workplace settings. It's going to introduce us to a variety of equipment and tools. And finally, we're going to bring in some professionals to talk about specific subjects.
This video is an orientation to the arboriculture profession. We're going to look at what it is arborists do, some of the physical demands of the job, and also some of the potential hazards.
This video places a strong emphasis on safety, training, and professionalism.
Let's get started.
Okay.
Arborists are professionals who care for trees while providing for public safety. Tree care crews work as teams to ensure a safe workday for all. You are now a part of a company and a tree care crew that will teach you how to work safely and efficiently to provide high-quality service. In caring for trees, you are performing a very important service that has benefits for people today as well as for future generations. Pruning, repairing storm damage, fertilizing, controlling pests, and installing support systems are some of the ways arborists care for trees. Arborists protect the public by reducing or eliminating tree hazards by removing hazardous limbs and trees. Arborists also provide line clearance tree trimming to limit the possibility of electrocutions and power failures caused by trees contacting conductors. A bonus that tree care professionals enjoy is the opportunity to perform varied tasks throughout the workday instead of the same task over and over. Tree care professionals are required to have multiple skills. As an arborist, you represent your company with clients and the public. Always be courteous with clients and their neighbors. Remember, when dealing with clients and potential clients, be friendly. Introduce yourself. Answer questions the best you can. If you don't have an answer, refer the client to someone in your company who does. Tree work requires physical labor. You must be able to complete various physical tasks throughout the workday without becoming over-fatigued. You must have the physical ability to complete work without jeopardizing your safety or the safety of others. These are the basic physical requirements of tree work. The ability to lift relatively heavy loads, the stamina to perform a full day's labor every day of the week, the ability to work in various weather conditions, and the ability to operate heavy equipment. The following are the most common types of injury in tree care. Slips, trips, and falls are commonly caused by poor footing on the ground, such as steep slopes, ice, mud, wet grass, and tree debris, and on vehicles, such as slippery step surfaces and working surfaces. Slips, trips, and falls can be avoided by not letting brush pile up, avoiding slippery surfaces when possible, and wearing non-skid work boots. Strains and sprains are commonly caused by poor footing and improper lifting technique, such as trying to lift too much weight at once. Strains and sprains can be avoided by watching your step, using warm-up exercises, and using proper lifting technique. Struck by is the classification for any accident in which the victim makes forceful contact with another object. The object could be a branch, a log, or a dropped tool. Struck bys can be avoided by using appropriate PPE, setting up a work zone at the worksite with proper cones, signs, and flags, staying out from under trees where limbs are being dropped, communicating with coworkers in the trees, staying out of the way of brush as it's being chipped, and providing for adequate control of vehicular traffic and staying out of traffic lanes. Chainsaw cuts can be prevented by proper chainsaw use. Wearing appropriate PPE provides extra protection. Chainsaw cuts can be avoided by following all safe operating instructions for chainsaws, using proper chainsaw starting techniques, using proper stance and cutting techniques, always using the chain brake when moving any distance between cuts, and always turning off the saw when moving longer distances or as soon as the task is complete.
The back injury is a leading cause of lost time in arboriculture. Now that may not impress you, but what should impress you is that a back injury can be debilitating, can be very painful, and lay you up for days at a time. In order to prevent back injuries, there are a lot of different actions that you can take, which we'll be reviewing in this video. Well, one of the simplest things you can do is when you have a heavy load to lift, is to get some assistance and use some sort of labor-saving device, such as a simple device like these log tongs, to lift a heavy load.
The common causes of back injury are improper method for dragging brush, lifting heavy or awkward loads, slipping, overreaching, falling from equipment, or awkwardly entering and exiting the truck cab.
Okay.
Your job requires strength and agility just like an athlete's. Like an athlete, you can keep your back healthy by stretching, taking care not to try to stretch cold muscles, exercising, and using proper lifting techniques. Here are some simple stretches.
Stretch. Lunge forward on this foot, keep your back heel down, knee straight, and just lunge forward and you should feel it stretching your calf. Now leave this foot where it is, come back, pull your toe in, come down like this and you should feel hamstring stretch. Okay? Next, last one is feet about shoulder width apart, arms to your side, and just do it gently, torso. Now, okay, how's everybody feeling? You can do shoulder rolls.
Here are the fundamentals of a proper lift. Test the load. Use a wide, balanced stance. Keep your head and shoulders up and your back curved as you lift, and lift with your legs. And hold the load as close to your body as possible.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the clothing and personal protective equipment, PPE, that we wear for tree care operations. Starting at the top, we have our hard hats. Absolutely needed for all tree care operations, whether on the ground or in the air. Sharon has a rather simple hard hat and separate eye protection. I have a system hard hat that has built into it ear muffs and a face shield. Next we have eye protection, fairly similar types. Remember that your face shield is no substitute for separate eye protection. Then we have to protect our hearing during loud operations. Sharon is using some ear plugs and I have the muffs from my helmet. Moving down, we both have a set of work gloves. Optional but really useful and really great for a lot of the tree care operations on the ground. And finally we have sturdy work boots. Now you may have noticed that we're wearing some chainsaw protective apparel. Sharon has a pair of chainsaw protective pants and I have what are called chaps. Mine are removable. After I'm done with the chainsaw I can take these off. It's absolutely necessary that you wear chainsaw protection anytime you're using a chainsaw on the ground. And it's also very important to keep these things relatively clean. If they get caked and matted with oil and dirt, they're not going to work.
You may run into situations where you're not sure of the right way to proceed. This is where your training and general safety comes into play. In this profession, mistakes in the field translate into injuries and near misses. Injuries can be serious, even tragic. Why are near misses important? Often the only difference between an injury and a near miss is a fraction of an inch or an instant of time.
Before we leave the shop in the morning, we're going to make sure we load up all the equipment we're going to need for the day's work. That includes the PPE for each member of the crew, as well as ropes, saddles, and other climbing gear, our rescue bag, chainsaws and other power equipment, fuel mix, bar oil, cleanup tools such as rakes, brooms, scoops, and our safety equipment, the signs and the cones. When we get all the gear loaded on the truck, we can go ahead and do our vehicle inspection.
By reviewing this video and Workbook Chapter 1, you should better appreciate the importance of trees and tree care. You should understand the physical demands of tree care and the importance of workplace safety. You should learn how to create and maintain a professional image, and learn how to recognize hazards and choose appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, for different tasks. Learn how to prevent back injuries and use proper lifting techniques. And learn how to use a checklist to prepare for the day's work before leaving the shop.
We hope this introduction has given you a better understanding of the profession you've chosen.
On behalf of the ISA
and the NAA,
please work safely.